Hey guys, welcome back to another Maledictor update. This is going to be kind of a short one this time around, not for lack of doing anything, but for lack of doing many things, I guess. We did a few things a lot this time, so hopefully we can get this in under 20 minutes. Let's jump on into the game here, and got E1M7. We might have a little more progress on it this time around. Get back to the start of the level here. We'll cover all this in a minute. But first up on the list is more models. Models are nice to have. They take up a bit more space than sprites, and really they're kind of a little bit faster sometimes. Depends on how complex the model is, but anyway, they're very nice to get more of because it adds a little bit more visual variety. As opposed to only sprites, you have a three-dimensional object that is a little bit more interesting, well, in some ways. Interacts with the light a little, but mostly, it's just kind of a break from seeing flat images all the time. And there's not a whole lot of sprites actually put into the level just yet, because we're still working on it. But I'm still filling out certain areas of the level, and then I'll go in and put in sprites. But for the most part, model work is not necessarily done in E1M7, but it's very, very much closer to being done. Still gonna have a lot of sprites to go. But anyway, some actual gameplay changes now. Increased minimum fall damage and decreased fall damage thresholds. So this basically means that it is now easier to take fall damage. And that fall damage is a little bit more impactful. I didn't want to go overboard with it, but I did notice that it was just about impossible to take fall damage. So I had the threshold started just a little too high. Is when I implemented that, I was still in the middle, I think, might have even been at the beginning of making E1M3. So I didn't quite know how tall my levels would get. And so I guess I figured I was going to put more verticality into the game than I have, but I also just kind of wanted to be safe. Like I didn't want to splatter people just running around. So the numbers were a little too generous towards the player, so I had to dial them in a little bit. So increasing the minimum fall damage makes it so that you're going to notice the fall damage more when you do take it. And decreased fall damage thresholds means that you're going to start taking fall damage, but then the different degrees of fall damage more. So the way that the fall damage works in this is it is calculated based on total height fallen, and it will, at certain points, basically set you up for a light fall, a medium fall, and then like a heavy fall. So, light falls, they hurt a little bit. They hurt a little bit more now after this change, but not too much. Medium, you'll definitely notice it. And then heavy falls, it's very difficult. I think E1M7 might be the only level that I have so far that actually allows you to take heavy fall damage. Maybe E1M5. Maybe. But yeah, it's it's difficult to take heavy fall damage in this game, but when you do, you'll know. We got that done. Next up, the tradition, more sprites. And like I said, there's going to be a lot more in this. This one needs a lot. a lot of sprites. Probably more sprites than any other level has ever needed. So, I'm going to be busy working on sprites for quite a while in this level. More materials. Yep, just getting a little bit more variety in the things like the walls and the floors. You need to have a little bit more interest in that. And yeah, that's that. E1M7 layout is finished, so yes, now we can finally get to showing this. I believe in my last update we had the bus in and maybe the start of this building. So as you can see, we are quite a bit more involved with E1M7, including this damn mall. So yeah, this mall is... This is what I'm talking about when I say I'm going to need a lot of sprites and going to need a lot of models too. We're not going to be filling out every single one of these stores because it is supposed to be an abandoned mall, but even still, need to have some visual interest here, and a mall is a very, very nice opportunity to just liven things up a little bit. And also, you know, it adds to a depressing atmosphere once it's all abandoned and stuff, so it fits in well. So, I generally don't go over the layout of the levels too much because I want it to be, you know, I don't want to spoil things too much, but we just quick overview. We've got our level start. I wanted to kind of theme this level around a bit of a slum as we're moving from different parts of the city inwards. And so, you know, we took the opportunity to make some train tracks and an old abandoned apartment building, abandoned theater, a construction zone. Got the office for this coming back. Karen Logistics coming back. Office for the railroad. Little interim connector. And then, of course, we got the 5 different floors for the mall. And coming out, we will also have just a little bit of street. And I actually cannot finish E1M7 until I have started E1M8, because this is going to be the opening of E1M8 right here. So you'll be able to actually see the start of the next level. So we'll get there. Yeah, it is. I'm pretty happy with the layout. It is. I wanted to focus more on some. I wanted to focus some more on the verticality of the level, and it definitely did that, I think. We got plenty of verticality in it. No, it's not a huge amount of platforming. I kind of want to take things a little easy on platforming because, you know, it's a first-person shooter, not a first-person platformer. And while I think I've got the movement controls down pretty well for Maledictor, I also, you know, platforming isn't exactly fun in FPS games from my experience. It's nice to have it every now and then, but definitely want to use it sparingly. So next we got a new soda brand. Right here we've got our Orange Madness. So we've got Doodly Cola, we got Wendigo, Dr. Deus, and now we have got Orange Madness. Yeah, I was a little I was a little tired when I made this one, but you know, sometimes you kind of just need some unhinged stuff every now and then. Keep the audience guessing. Next, particle effects removed. For real this time, all of them. I'm sure this will be the last time I ever have to say this, but I have finally gotten all the particle effects out of the game until I find the next ones. Man. Yeah, that was on, I think that was on fall damage. That was on fall damage and breaking a window. Yeah. So I got that fixed up. there can't be too many more places for them to hide, but I'm sure there's still one or two lurking around, but as far as I'm aware, we've taken them all out. Next, microwave Easter egg has been improved. Yep. You don't need to see that one. I'll let that be a surprise. Just know it's better than it's ever been. And then next, improved movable walls and gates. You know, if we go here, we've got these shutters. So these are movable walls, kind of how I class them. These are basically meant to be used as secrets. You know, you walk up to a wall, use it, you know, press the interact button on it, and then it drops down and you can find the secret behind it. However, turns out they're kind of useful as also working as a door that is, you know, not a door. And so I kind of used them. I built them up over the course of working on this game so that they could also be used for maybe gates that were activated with a button so that I didn't really need to change a whole lot for them. You know, and I could have them work as sprites as well instead of a model. But the time's finally come where I need a little bit more variety out of them, so I went and I expanded them just a little bit. Actually, I think that was basically 2 extra nodes of code, and I added, I think, 1 variable to the save data for it. So, you know, it's a very minimal amount of changes to it. But now the main thing is, before they could only go down. And before they could also only be... yeah. Before they could only be this model. And you can kind of see why it might be a little bit... a little bit of an issue if I want to, you know, like, let you see through it. So... with these shutters. So what I did is I just made it to where now you can change the model of it. When you change the model of it and you save the game, then it will save the model. And also made it so that you can choose to have it raise up instead of go down, in case, you know, you're actually standing in front of it and you need to use it. So yes, now they work just fine. Go into the game and you go. So we've got that going for us now. So that's nice. Okay, but really that's all the notes that I've got for this. Yes, as you can see, we have filled out this level a ton. So it is its layout is done, but the only exception being, you know, needing to get into E1M7 and make the beginning of that level so that I can put it in here. And then that will be the end of the level right there. Otherwise, got all of this done, and this month is basically going to be filling out the mall, making a lot of sprites and models, and getting all of this filled out. As you can see, we've already kind of started a little bit in some of these stores. And then I'll need to put in the pickups, you know, the weapons, items, the keys. Put in the enemies and the spawn triggers, sound effects. I'll need to make another radio show and another arcade game. And once I've got put in the lights, once that's done, we'll be done with E1M7. So ideally, I should be done with E1M7 by the next update. The only thing that might delay me on that is making the arcade game, because that usually takes a little bit of time. Usually needs its own week, depending on how complex it is. Thinking of what it's gonna be is the really hard part. Coding it is its own challenge, but just thinking of the game is gonna be the hard part. So once I get that done, I guess plans for post E1M7. Once I get E1M7 done, obviously move into E1M8, and with E1M8, I'll need to make the boss, which will take a bit. Designing the level itself should be pretty quick because I'm kind of going the Blood route and the Doom 2 route, where the boss levels are more just arenas. So we'll be doing that. So designing the level overall shouldn't be too bad. Making the boss is going to be a pain because I'm going to have to code him specially, but mainly it's just going to be doing the sprites and the animations and stuff. That always takes forever for new enemies. And then after that, I need to make one more arcade game, not for E1M8, but for E1M1. Then need to make a radio show for E1M1 as well. And once E1M8 is done, and I've got that done, then basically go in, touch things up. I want to add more ambient sounds into the levels. I want to just touch up some of the older levels. Maybe change a little bit of design, not too much. I don't really think that I need to mess with their layout overall too much. But just spruce things up, add more sprites and models into them to liven them up a little bit, because this level and E1M6 especially are very, very kind of stepped up from compared to E1M1. So E1M1, some of the earlier ones, I definitely need to bring up a little bit. But other than that, once that's done, get the alpha testing in. Then I'll need to probably get some Steam achievements put in. And once the testing and the achievements and everything are done, then it's gonna be onto Steam. And I'm hoping now, I changed if you knew how many times I've delayed this game so far for myself, I'm hoping for a mid-May release now on Steam. It'll still be early access, but you're gonna be getting E1M1 onto the Steam store. It's gonna be purchasable and playable. So just gotta move with that a little bit, but overall, we're making really good progress here, and making good progress overall. So, looks like from the timer, technically managed to make it in under 20 minutes. Practically not so much, but anyway. That'll be it for this month. We will see you next month. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. See you next time. Have a good one.